Leeds United open up a bit of a gap at the top of the table over in the Championship, but what about the race for the playoffs? Of course, who's taking full advantage? Who, of course, will slip out of it? It's madness, it's Boxing Day, and it's coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again on another prediction video. Today is all about Matchday number 23. We're reaching the halfway mark over in the Championship season. Who, of course, is in control of their destiny and who, of course, is in a bit of trouble. We'll take a look at all of it in a second. If you're new where you've been, hit the old subscribe button. You want to stop shop for Championship football, Blackburn Rovers, world football. We're going to all hear under one rooski. Of course, it's pretty much as you were this past weekend, but a couple of drop points for the likes of Rovers and Middlesbrough to open up the likes for Watford, West Brom, and maybe even Wednesday to creeping into the playoffs this coming Boxing Day. We'll take a look at it, all of it in a second. Big shout out to the members, you know who you are, and a big shout out to the Patreons, you know who you are. What we're going to do now, though, is revisit those last round of games, see who, of course, took maximum points, and see, of course, who slipped up. We'll take a look at it, of course, just in a second. Again, we'll bring you bang up to date with a very, very special Super Brew today. We're going to take a look at this special Super Brew. What am I talking about? Sit tight, hold on, here I come. Alrighty then, folks, let's turn the clock back to this past weekend and have a look just how well I did. I'm not, you know, you might sense a bit of positivity in my talk. Well, look at this then, guys. Look at it. Look at it. The only one I got fucking wrong was the Rovers. Rovers let me down, but everything else, I've predicted the right result. I should have put some money on it. Anyway, Luton Town did beat Derby 2-1 in the end. I went with a 2-0 win myself. Hull City did beat Swansea 2-1 as predicted. Pompey did beat Coventry 4-1. I went with a 2-1. Ain't too shabby there. Sheffield Wednesday with a 2-0 win over Stoke City. I went with a 1-0. Ain't too bad on that either. The Six-Fingered Freaks did beat Watford 2-1 in the end. I went with a 3-1 win. The Blades did beat Cardiff in Wales 2-0 as predicted. Leeds United with a big 4-0 win over Oxford. I went with a 4-1 win. Okay, there we go. The only shitty one on there was, of course, a double shitter. Got the result wrong, and Rovers did lose. So not great there. Plymouth and Borough 3-3 in the end. I went with a 2-2. QPR with a 2-1 win over Preston. I went with a 3-1 win. And the Mackhams did beat Sunderland 2-1 win in the end. 2-0 win in my eyes. And West Brom did beat Bristol City 2-0 win. I went with a 1-0 win. So yeah, pretty much fantastic. If you want prediction tips, you come to the right place. This is the table though, as it looks like. Sheffield United are 48 points right now. Leeds are second with 45. The Blades have a 4-point cushion over the Freaks in third. Then Sunderland are right on the heels there in fourth. Rovers still hanging on in there with a blip on the resume. 37 points for the campaign. Is this the start of a bit of a rot? We have got some really bad games coming up, so it could be a bit of a slumpy, miserable start to 2025 here. But of course, we've still got Boxing Day and more to come. Middlesbrough also in the top six. Going down, it is Plymouth, it is Oxford, it is Cardiff, all on 18 points. Hull City just on the outside with 19. Pompey on big movers as well, just one defeat for them. So that's the situation there. Of course, we have the Super Brew. This is the link for the Super Brew. But what's going on in the Super Brew? Let's take a little look. Well, look at this. Look at this. Stevel, he's the leader. 23 points this past week. But me, I'm in there in second spot with 22 points. So just goes to show, a good week can do you absolutely the world of good. We'll take a little look at what that's done to me in the leaderboard in a second. But I just want to revel in my glory right there. There I am in second. Can we see it? Can we see it? Can we see it? Can you not see it? I'm there in second right there, guys. Look at that. An impressive week of picks for me, but also impressive ones for Macca, Hans Wurst, the Frosties in there, DJ Horn up there, but of course they're not as good as me, but Stevel has to take the yellow cap because I can't let myself win it because that would look like I'm cheating, even though I don't know there is the ability to cheat. Anyway, this is of course the predictions right here, right now. If you see your name in there, even if you didn't predict like Philly Pete, you can still get your predictions. We're on the second page here, guys, so well done to those guys, but let's take a look at the leaderboard over for the course of the season. Are we going to look at the leaderboard? Are you going to let me? Here we go. It's KP21 still tops the charts with 240 points. Weller's up there alongside him, 223. And Brew's on first. What a cool name. Who's not in first yet, but he's in third. I'm down to 12th. That means I am serious about winning this fucking thing. So I'm still a good 30 points adrift, but I'm a big mover. One of the biggest moves, up 6 spots to number 12. Also a big mover. Jimmy Pastoni down 7 of 20. Pennywise up 6 as well. Some other big shit. Look at the James OFC, 13 spots to number 28. He ain't giving up the dream, but of course it is still a long way to go as we break into the halfway mark of the season very, very soon. Now, folks, we're looking forward to Boxing Day and beyond. Well, I'm not really looking forward to it, but we've got some bangers on the agenda. All 3 o'clock kickoffs, bar the last couple, Derby and Stoke. They're, of course, later on in the day, but we have a slam-packed agenda. We're going to kick it all off. The best place in town, and it is Ewood Park, and it is Rovers up against Sunderland. Preview to come, probably on Christmas Eve. We'll drop that later. John Eustace's boys are fifth at the table, 37 points for the campaign. They're on 83% form for them, but do come into this on the back of a loss. Meanwhile, Sunderland under Reggie Debris are fourth with 43 points for the campaign. They're on 67% form. They are unbeaten in the last 4 with just 1 defeat. Also in the last 6, they played 27 times since 1997. Rovers have the edge. 10 wins to Sunderland's 9. There's been 8 draws between the two sides. Last time they played over at Ewood, it was a 3-1 win for Sunderland. However, we did return the favour with a 5-1 win at their own backyard at the Stadium of Light last time around. Probably one of the biggest defeats on their record. Rovers on the back of that 1-0 loss to Millwall. Prior to that, we had 5 clean sheets on the spin. Sunderland on the back of a 2-1 win over Norwich, but proven to be resolute in their performances. I think coming back from losing positions against Swansea and maybe even Norwich, I'm not too sure. Quick look at the odds then, shall we, for this one. 7-4 is your Rovers, 29-20 is your Sunderland. The draw's at 12-5. If we'd won against Millwall, then I would say that the tails would have been up and we might have get a win here. But I think it's if I'm going to be honest, Sunderland have that fight about them, and I think they're going to get something out of this. I'm going to go with a good draw here, 1-1, or it might be a 0-0. I think this looks good on paper. It does look good on paper, but I think Rovers will be try to be the resolute best. And also, there's concerns. Travis might be out. It looks like 5-6 weeks. So that's a big loss. Maybe some key injuries to Rovers that's going to affect them and their dreams of maintaining their position in the table. So I'm going to go with a draw on that one. Let's move over to Thrashton Gate as Bristol City take on Luton Town. Of course, Bristol City under Liam Manning, they are 12th at the table, 27 points for the campaign, just 1 win in the last 6 up against Luton under Rob Edwards, who's grinding out results right now, 15th in the table, 25 points for the campaign, just 1 defeat in the last 4. Now, they played 19 times since 1993. 5 wins the hosts, 9 wins for the Hatters, 5 draws between the two sides. And the last time they played at this very venue was a 2-0 win for Bristol City back in August 2022. It's a difficult place to go. And they are actually unbeaten in the last couple in back-to-back games at home, drawn with QPR and beaten Plymouth 4-0. Meanwhile, Luton on the back of a couple of wins, and those wins were at home. There's their away form that's also biting them in the ass. The odds for this one, though, Bristol City 6-5 for the victory, 21-10 is your Luton, 5-2 is the draw. I think it'll continue. Their away form will continue to be shitty. I'm going to go with the Bristol City victory, 2-1 win at Thrashton Gate. Meanwhile, Coventry City up against Plymouth. Oh, goodness gracious me, it's the battle of the legends, the English legends. Frank Lampard's Coventry up against Wayne Rooney's Plymouth at the Rico. Coventry are 17th with 24 points for the campaign. Just 2 wins, 2 defeats in the last 4. Up against Plymouth under Wayne Rooney, winless in at least the last 7. They are 17% form. And speaking of 17, they have played each other 17 times since 2004. 7 wins Coventry, 7 wins Plymouth, and there's been 3 draws. Coventry are in 17th as well compared to bottom of the table, Plymouth Argyle. Last time around at Coventry, it was a 1-0 win for Coventry at the Rico back in November 2023. Plymouth are unbeaten against Coventry over the last 2 at their own place, but this is, of course, at the Rico. And Coventry, again, are more than likely to grind out a result at this very venue. Back-to-back games at home, unbeaten, beating Hull and drawing with Cardiff most recently. Plymouth on the road, though, are pretty shitty. They've lost at least 3 on the bounce, so they've shipped in 12 goals in the last 3 on the road. The odds for this one, 3-1 on is your Coventry, at 72 is your Plymouth, 4-1 is the draw. This could be, I'd give them to 2025 or at least the FA Cup window or something. But I think Wayne Rooney is on borrowed time right now. 3-0 win. Coventry will bounce back with this one. And we'll take the 3 points. Meanwhile, a bit of a cracker coming at you over out of Riverside. It's Middlesbrough under Michael Carrick. 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. They 6-6 with 35 points. Up against Sheffield Wednesday under Danny Rolls. 75% form. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit 9th with 32 points for the campaign. Played each other 30 times since 1995. 17 wins for the Borough. 10 wins for Wednesday. 3 draws between the two sides. Now, the last time they played over at this venue, it was a 2-0 win for the Borough, who've won back-to-back games at this very venue. Of course, in fact, they're unbeaten against Wednesday over the last 3 with a 2-0 win last time around back in January. It looks actually back in April 2024. Borough on the back of that 3-3 draw against Plymouth Wednesday with a 2-0 win over Stoke to make it back-to-back wins. The odds for this one, Borough are 20-13 on for the victory. 4-1 is your Wednesday. 29-10 is the draw. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for the Borough. Of course, I think their home form is good. Wednesdays away, not the greatest, so I'm going with it. Meanwhile, Norwich need to get back to winning ways up against a Millwall side who were pretty tough with David Livermore at the helm. Carrow Road is the venue. Todd Up is the coach for Norwich. 13th in the table, 26 points for the campaign. They are winless in the last 4. Millwall, though, just 1 win and 6. Of course, it was against Rovers. Of course, it was 10th in the table, 28 points for the campaign. They are coming into this above Norwich in the table. 2 points the difference. Played to the 26 times since 1995. 13 wins for the Canaries, 6 wins for the Lions, 7 draws between the two sides. Now, the last time they played at this venue was a 3-1 win for Norwich. In fact, Norwich are just 1 defeat against Millwall over the last 6. Norwich do come in on the back of that 2-1 loss to Sunderland. They're, of course, winless in the last 4, with the last victory being at this very venue, 4-2 win over Luton. Millwall, of course, on the back of a victory against Rovers, but their away form is pretty shitty. Just the 1 point in the last couple on the road. The odds here, 6-5 is your Norwich, 12-5 is your Millwall, 21-10 is the draw. Despite Millwall being good, very good at home, I think they'll lose this one because I think Norwich at home will be something else, especially over the Christmas period. Meanwhile, Oxford against Cardiff. Coming at the Kazam, it's Gary Rowett's first game in charge up against Cardiff and Omar Ritza. This is definitely the game to come into. Oxford on 8% form for them right now. They're 23rd in the table, 18 points for the campaign. Winless in the last 8. Up against Cardiff and Omar Ritza. They are 22nd in the table, also on 18 points. 25% form. They've drawn 3, though, over the last 6. Now, they played each other twice. So 2011, 2 wins out of 2 for Cardiff. One was a friendly, one was in the EFL Cup. And that one game in the Cup was at this very venue back in August 2011. Oxford, on the back of the 4-0 loss to Leeds. Of course, heavy defeats in a row, 3 defeats in a row. And they've conceded what we're looking at, 9 goals in the last 3, averaging 3 goals conceded per game. Meanwhile, Cardiff on the back of a 2-0 loss to Sheffield United. Both of those recent defeats. That's 3 home defeats on the spin. They're getting points on the road, not getting anything at home. So this could go in favour of Cardiff, or at least to get a point. 15-8 is your Oxford, 6-4 is your Cardiff, 23-10 is the draw. It does feel like it could be a draw, but I might go with new manager Bounce here with 2-1 win for Oxford. And of course, that will see them overtake them in the table. Meanwhile, Preston up against Hull City at Deepdale. This one's awkward. This one's very awkward. Of course, Preston under Paul Heckingbottom, 50% form for them right now. 1-1 loss, 1 undrawn 4. 18th in the table, 23 points for the campaign. Up against Hull, Ruben Selles on the back of a win. 1-1 loss, 1 drawn in the last 3. They're 21st in the table, 19 points for the campaign. Played each other 23 times since 2005. 9 wins apiece and 5 draws. Speaking of draws, there's been 3 0-0s between these two sides over the last 4. The only other result was a 1-0 win at Hull, the last time they played at the MKM. So it's been back-to-back draws, back-to-back 0-0s at Deepdale between these two sides. But Preston haven't won this game at their own place since they beat Hull back in 2020. Preston on the back of that 2-1 loss to QPR. Hull on the back of that 2-1 win at home to Swansea. Preston's home form, back-to-back draws against West Brom and Leeds. So they're stepping up against the big boys. 6-5 is your Preston, 11-5 is your Hull, 12-5 is a draw. This could be a draw. This could be a draw. I might even lean towards Preston. Yep, going with Preston, 2-0 win. Because they have some players. They've got some good players, and when they're on it, they're on it. So I think I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, the Nobbers, to take it. Meanwhile, a bit of a bing-bong classic at Bramall Lane. It's first, it's third, it's at, of course, it's a 6-pointer. On Boxing Day, all eyes will be on this one, except for the ones at Ewood. Sheffield United under Chris Wilder, top of the table, 48 points for the campaign. They won 5 of the last 6. Against Burnley under Scott Parker, third in the table, 44 points for the campaign. 4 wins in the last 6. Played each other 30 times since 1994. 13 wins apiece and 4 draws between the two sides. The last time they played over at this very venue was a 4-1 win for Burnley back in April 2024 in the Premier League. 3 wins on the spin for Burnley. They've scored 11 goals against Sheffield United over the last 3. So they are a sticky wicket. There are goals in these games. If you add up the last 4 matches between these two sides, we're looking at 10, 16, 18, 19 goals scored in the last 4 matches. You do the math. It's averaging 4 goals a game. Sheffield United, pretty much. 2-0 Sheffield United, of course, against Cardiff, back-to-back clean sheets. In fact, 3 clean sheets on the spin. Burnley on the back of successive 2-1 wins, first against Norwich and then most recently against Watford. The odds for this one, Sheffield United 27-20 for the victory, 2-1 is your Burnley, 9-4 is the draw. Like I said, goals in this game. I'm going with 6 in this one. I'm going to go with a 4-2 win for the Blades. And what a game that will be. If you can't watch the Blackburn game, watch that one. Meanwhile, Swansea City up against QPR over in Wales. That's right. Swansea under Luke Williams, 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. They sit 11th, 27 points for the campaign. Up against QPR under Kofiantis. They are 14th at the table, 25 points for the campaign. They're unbeaten in the last 6 matches. Played each other 26 times since 2004. 8 wins. Swansea 9 wins. QPR 9 draws between the two sides. Swansea, though, on the back of that, we'll talk about their recent form in a minute, but the last 6 against QPR. QPR have got the upper hand, winning 2 and losing the 1. So there's been 3 draws between these two sides. The last time they played, though, in Wales, it was a 1-win for QPR. That was back in April 2024. Swansea, though, on the back of that 2-1 loss to Hull. Their home, in fact, it's been back-to-back defeats for them. QPR, though, on the back of a 2-1 win over Preston. Their away form, though, is where it's a little bit wobbly. Home form, you don't want to play them. Away form, a couple of draws. So that's good. You win your home, you draw your way, and that's a story for success. 6-5 on is your Swansea, 5-2 is the draw, 10-3 is your QPR. This might just go, though, in favour of Swansea, or it could be a draw. I don't think Swansea lose this game. 2-1 win, that's what I'm going for right there. Meanwhile, we're going to Vicarage Road as Watford take on a Portsmouth side who are just proving all the doubters wrong right here, right now. Coming at you at Vicarage. Watford under Tom Cleverley, 58% form. They are 8th for the table, 34 points for the campaign. Just 1 defeat, though, in the last 6. They are draw kings, drawing 3 of the last 6. Up against Portsmouth under John Mousinho, who just lost once in the last 6. They're on 67% form. They are 20 points in the table and 20th in the table, of course. Now, the last time I played over at this very venue, it was a 2-0 win for Watford back in November 2011. Watford had won 3 on the bounce at this very venue, of course. It's been home banker for the last 7 matches. In fact, the last time the away side won was when Watford beat Portsmouth at Fratton Park. It was a 1-0 win back in April 2002. Portsmouth, though, on the back of that 4-1 win over Coventry, big win for them on the at home. Derby, though, did beat them last time they were on the road. So their away form is a little bit bumpy. In fact, they haven't won. I don't think they've won away at all this season. Watford, though, on the back of a 2-1 win at their own place last time around, but they did lose to Burnley most recently. The odds right here, right now. Watford are 6-5 on for the victory. 5-2 is the draw. 16-5 is your away win. I am going Watford here on this one at home. Going to go with the form. We're going with the trend here on this game. That's when the home side win. This is one. Meanwhile, Derby, again, also solid at home. Up against West Bromwich Albion, who've got themselves a bit of form right now at a good time of the season. Derby under Paul Warne right now, a 60th at the table, just 24 points for the campaign. 1 win in the last 6. Up against West Brom under Carlos Corbehan. 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit 7th on the outside looking in for those playoff spots. Now, they played each other 22 times since 1993. 10 wins Derby, 6 wins West Brom, 6 draws between the two sides. Now, the last time they played at Derby, it was back in August 2022. It was a 1-0 win for Derby, who've won back-to-back games against West Brom at this very venue. In fact, they got 3 clean sheets on the spin against them, both home and away. Of course, Derby's home form has been the key to their success of late, but it's only been 1 win in the last 3 at home, and that was against Portsmouth on that Friday night. West Brom on back-to-back wins, back-to-back home wins themselves. Of course, their away form also a bit bubbly without a win, and at least the last 3 on the road. The odds for this one, though, Derby are 70-10 for the victory, 8-5 is your West Brom, 11-5 is the draw. You would back Derby, I think. You could back them. I think it's a bit of a coin flip, but I'm going to go with Carlos Corbehan's tactics on this one. I think he's going to have the upper hand with a 2-1 win and then pick points for them. And, of course, maybe even squeak into the playoffs heading into the next round of games. And then finally, we go to Stoke City, of course, at the Bet365. Of course, Nasius Palac in a bit of trouble right now. 19th for the table, 22 points for the campaign. They're 17th in the table. They haven't won in the last 8 matches. Against Leeds under Daniel Farker, 2nd in the table, 45 points for the campaign. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. Played each other 13 times since 2004. 5 wins Stoke, 6 wins Leeds. 2 draws between the two sides. Now, the last time I played at this very venue, though, it was a 1-0 win for Stoke back in October 2023. Stoke, though, on the back of that loss, a heavy loss to Sheffield Wednesday, who I think were down to 10 men. Leeds on the back of that 4-0 win over Oxford. Their away form isn't their greatest. They're coming in on the back of a draw against Preston most recently, and also a loss against Rovers. So maybe it's an opportunity to play Leeds, who are clinical at home, but a bit sketchy on the road. Stoke's home form isn't the greatest, though, when they haven't won in a while. At least the last 3 at home, they haven't won. The odds for this one, though, Stoke are 5-1 for the victory, 50-8 on is your Leeds, 16-5 is the draw. Going to go with a 2-0 win here, Leeds, to, of course, maintain the heat at the top of the table. But I don't think it's going to be enough to get them closer to the top spot as Sheffield United, in my eyes, will win. That's, of course, my picks there. Use the link for the Super Brew. Of course, I had a cracking week last time around. Can I match it this time around? Until then, subscribe, smash the like. Catch you later, guys and girls. But until then, winner.